He's cooking. He's cooking. It's so awesome. He's cooking. Uncle Chunk. Bro, your uncle went off on Stephen Miller's wife on Piers. I saw this. This was fire. Wait, I want the full one. I want the full segment. Cenk cooked her. Absolutely cooked her. And she had no response. She has no response. Cenk, Uncle Chunk, Uygur, absolutely toasted her ass. And she just kept going, oh, this is anti-Semitism. This is anti-Semitism. That's it. That's all. She had one move, which is so funny because, like, you came about in the most, like, anti-woke wave. Okay? You came into power with the most, like, anti-woke wave of all time. And instead of abiding by that principle of anti-woke, now we've gotten to a point where in the United States of America, the only woke thing that is permissible, no more identity politics unless you are cynically talking about Jews and anti-Semitism in defense of Israel. That's it. That's the only time we're supposed to act like we give a shit about identity politics. You can say whatever the you want about everybody. You can say whatever the you want about even Jews as long as they're anti-Zionist Jews, right? But God forbid you say anything about the holy nation of Israel, the best nation of all time, the most moral nation. That's the only time where you're like, you need to be silenced immediately. Is Katie Miller even Jewish? I don't know. I mean, I know Steven is. I don't know if she is. Not that it fucking matters because Cenk's not saying anything anti-Semitic. Oh, dictionary.com picks 6-7 as the 2025 word of the year. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we freaking go. Anyway, look. This is the where's the Cenk on Piers? Let's do this.
Are no longer at the gate.
He cooked Randy Fine too, I guess. I mean, he went crazy.
What does that have to do with anything regarding his policies and how he will run New York City? So that should be called out from the get. It's wrong. Nobody should do it. Simultaneously, yes, a lot of the things you said are alarming to me. I do wish, like, dude, just come out and condemn Hamas. It's not that hard. It's very common sense, in my opinion. What's alarming to me about Mamdani are his policies. And if we're going to talk about that, I feel like I can pontificate on it. But with regard to him being Muslim, I go back to, again, who cares? And people should stop calling that out. It's wrong.
But I guess it's relevant if he is saying that Islamophobia is endemic in the United States. I mean, do you believe that it is endemic in the United States? A hatred of people for their Muslim faith?
I don't think it's endemic in the United States, but it does exist. Racism exists. Sexism exists. I don't think it's endemic. And I think that kind of fear-mongering, rage-baiting is literally tearing us apart, which is why I want to see it stop when it comes to his religion as well. So, listen, he said a lot of things that I don't like. This is America. He's allowed to say those things. I go back to what I wish people would attack him on specifically are his policies, because that's where I believe he has exceptional vulnerability. Like, if you don't like the things...
Yeah, that's right. What you should do instead is constantly talk about how, no, better things are not possible, and everyone is a stupid child for thinking that you could get fast and free buses. How dare you? That is definitely going to be a successful method. No, the reality of the matter is if you actually present a decent, easily definable 5-bullet point left populist policy program, it's virtually impossible to destroy that. And that's precisely the reason why everyone is trying to hit the whole Zohran Mamdani is a Muslim man, Mohammedan threat who will do 9/11s over and over again if elected. That's the only reason why they're doing that, because they don't have anything else, because it is a self-sustaining campaign. Otherwise, you only look like an annoying person who says better things are not possible if you are constantly constantly complaining that the working poor deserve less.
That he's saying about Gaza or Hamas or the Jews. Don't double down by saying those things about him being Muslim. That's my opinion.
He's never said anything about the Jews. We should just be clear about the fact that he's never said anything about the Jews.
That's true. He is not.
It's just a phrase that gets imposed on him because people can't find anything to condemn. Yeah, but that's not saying anything about the Jews. Whatever his views are on Hamas, that's a completely different conversation. We should just use words carefully and to be like, if we're going to have a constructive discourse, it's important not to put words in other people's mouths. So anytime you hear Mamdani and you hear the phrase, the Jews followed by it, that's typically a smear because Mamdani has never expressed any views that are anti-Semitic. If his political views about Israel and Palestine are problematic, let's debate the merits of those without suggesting that he's saying something about the Jews when he never did.
Oh, okay. What about this one? He has a rap song.
Okay.
I was going to say he has a rap song where he celebrates the Holy Land Five, who have gone to jail for sending millions of dollars to Hamas. How do you think that would make a Jewish person feel?
What is this? Like, why does everybody who defend Israel sound the same? There's always this like incredibly whiny tone that people who's like, oh, why won't you let me say you are a Mohammedan? It's always like that. It always feels the same way. Like the Israeli SNL, it transcends national boundaries. It's so crazy. Like, it's like, I'm not talking about the accents, right? I'm talking about like this performative outrage that everyone who defends Israel has to engage in. And you'll see it, like Katie Miller says, it takes the exact same tone of voice.
Probably not great.
Not great, Jillian.
I've never heard of that song.
Israel slaughters. Hold on.
Okay, I mean, it exists.
Our children over and over and over again, and all we do is and Piers, this is really important. It's not that the American people are Islamophobic. It's that American media, mainstream media, and almost all the Israeli supporters are the most bigoted, racist people in the country.
True.
They despise Muslims. All they do is smear Muslims 24/7 while pretending that they're concerned about bigotry, but only when it affects their beloved Israel. So they're like, oh my God, I'm so concerned about anti-Semitism. Oh, you said something slightly true, actually very true about Israel, but it hurt my feelings. You're an anti-Semite, fire him, cancel him, etc. This is all thuggery. There's a bunch of
he's cooking. He's cooking. It's so awesome. He's cooking. Uncle Chunk. It's so crazy because they have different opinions on a bunch of issues that I disagree with, like at the Young Turks. But both him and Anna have so consistently duked it out in media in the most uncompromising manner when it comes to defending Palestinians. But even if they will also concede at times about like the resistance front and they lean into that kind of narrative a little bit too much to my liking, they always are just like, no.
Israeli forces inside America. They've taken over our Congress. They've taken over mainstream media. And not only do they try to smear, cancel, fire, and arrest anyone who criticizes Israel,
True.
But on top of that, they now demand that you be racist and bigoted against Muslims. And it's so hilarious.
If you want to be specific with your words,
because Mamdani, hold on, let me finish. So let me finish. So now they go, okay, even though Mamdani has never said anything anti-Semitic, nothing against Jews, and even though the majority of Jews, according to polling, are supporting Mamdani, 67% of younger Jewish Americans in New York, that's under 45, are supporting Mamdani, we're going to lie anyway, and we're going to say, you know what, he's a dirty Muslim, and you should hate him for supporting Muslims. And that's what almost all of the Israeli supporters are doing, almost all of mainstream media, and that sick, disgusting Andrew Cuomo, who's as bigoted as it gets.
Woo! Smoked them. Oh, and then Piers is like, what an optimal time to come in here and hawk some pills.
All right,
now
Katie.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Huh.
Why is it that every time someone wants to criticize Mamdani, it immediately comes back to the Jews and the anti-Israel movement instead of actually talking about his viewpoints, which is that he
Nobody
wants to
said
make
Jews.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's like it's like I'm. This is like a gaslighting like defending Palestinians means that you are going to encounter Zionists out in the wild, okay? And talking to Israel defenders on any issue is always like arguing with a schizophrenic girlfriend that has bipolar borderline personality disorder, where like, not only, no disrespect to the BPD girlies, okay? I love you all. But it just kind of feels like is gaslight, or boyfriend, for the record. BPD boyfriend, not just girlfriend. I didn't want to come across as sexist here. But like, it just straight up feels like you are dealing with someone who just does not want to engage with reality, who will gaslight you into oblivion. On the one hand, they will literally be like, Zoran is Mohammedan, is gonna do 9/11 over and over and over again, okay? And then you go, he's never said anything of the sort. Like, what are you talking about? And then they'll say, Zoran is going to kill all the Jews, or Zoran is going to be terrifying to the Jews. And you're like, but he's never said anything anti-Semitic. And then they turn around and go, excuse me, why are you making everything about Israel? And it's like, well, I don't know, because you keep talking about it. You keep talking about it nonstop. What do you mean? I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about fast and free buses. Shut up. You keep bringing the convo back to this. And then you try to gaslight me mid-convo. You haven't even finished talking about how Zoran is going to kill all the Jews in New York or some shit. A ridiculous smear tied to absolutely nothing. And I can't even get a word in edgewise and counter to that without you going, excuse me, why are we only talking about the Jews and the Muslims here? It's like, well, you are the one who's bringing it up. What the Andrew Cuomo basically made this strategy his campaign strategy. Okay? Andrew Cuomo made this his formative campaign strategy. He literally was like, I'm going to spam how much I dick ride Israel into oblivion. I am going to show people how much Zoran is anti-Israel, even though he don't want to talk about that shit at all. And then when he realized, oh, people actually don't fuck with Israel at all. Oh no, what a failure. I just lost the primaries. He now turns around and goes, why is Zoran always talking about Israel and Gaza? It's like, I don't know, bitch, because you keep bringing it up.
You just said it. You always do that. We say Israel, you say Jews. We say Israel is a government. Please don't make it about Jewish Americans. And you come back and go, you have to make it about Jewish Americans. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
State, yes or no?
Yeah. First of all, okay, so Saudi Arabia is a Muslim state, and you can criticize it all day long, all day long. There's no special protection
because
for
what you're doing is you're decoding language
that
to
calls themselves
American
a Jewish state or a Muslim
state, and to say that
state.
we should not be here and we should not be in existence, and that you would be happy for other people like Mandami to use it.
I want Israel to be safe.
Nothing of the sort.
Nonsense. You're totally lying. It's very normal for a Miller to be completely and utterly lying. That's not true. We want Israel to be a safe haven for Jews.
For those of you who don't know what he's talking about Stephen Miller. This is Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife. But as soon as he says totally normal for a Miller to be lying, she goes alt mode, okay? It's so obvious what he's talking about there. He's talking about you and your husband both are liars. But she turns around, and I didn't even know. Is Miller a Jewish last name, by the way? Is it? It's not, right? I don't think so. Because it's not. Okay. Anyway, he goes, totally normal for a totally classic, like for a Miller to be lying. And she literally turns around. No, it's an English last name. Yeah. It's English. It's I assume Stephen Miller, who is Jewish, and Judaism is matrilineal. I assume Stephen Miller's dad is not Jewish or something, right? I don't know. Or somewhere along the family line, there was a Christian. There was a Christian man that changed the last name of the dynasty, because I think it's mostly like a predominantly like a WASP English last name. But regardless, it's very obvious what Cenk is saying here, which is, you know, you and your husband are both liars, which is true. Stephen Miller is a liar, and so is Katie Miller. But she turns around and goes, wow, anti-Semitism.
67 borders, but you guys say, no, more Palestinian land. Take Gaza, take the West Bank, take southern Lebanon. Your greed knows no bounds. And by the way, you and your husband are supposed to be working for America, not for Israel. I think you're betraying this country.
All right, Cenk, let Katie...
Piers, if I could just jump in here on a quick note.
Yeah, Omar, I'll come to you, but let Katie finish her point, then I'll come to you. Katie.
No, Piers, quite frankly, I'm really sick and tired of this racist, bigoted rhetoric that comes from people like you.
Racist, bigoted rhetoric. Racist, bigoted rhetoric to the wife of one of the most powerful fascists on the planet. Okay? How dare you? How dare you engage in such racist, bigoted rhetoric talking about the immigration czar and the immigration czar's wife, who somehow also is a part of the admin for some weird reason.
Against my husband, against my family, and my children. I am raising Jewish children in this country.
Who brought your children into this? What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done with this if you're going to allow racist and bigoted attacks against one of your commentators just for the sake that he will not
hang on.
Speaking.
Casey, to be clear, Casey, to be clear,
he inserted a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language for therefore we are Jewish?
So woke. I love this, bro. It's so stupid. It's so maybe it's because these guys haven't had a lot of time in the woke Olympics, that they just like try to haphazardly slam it into every conversation. It is hilarious to see like Nazi woke scolds, right? But she's like she has not spent enough time in the woke minds like we did. So she doesn't know when and where to like actually push on this. So she's like, wow, you are engaging what all of the lesbian English lit majors call a microaggression. Like, what are you saying? Because like, even though it seems like if you listen to this administration, the only type of idpol that is always allowed, and the only type of idpol that we should care about is anti-Semitism. It doesn't even work in this situation because like he didn't even say anything anti-Semitic. Like, if her last name was like Scheinbaum or something, and and Cenk turned around and was like, oh, classic Scheinbaums, then you could at least say that. But like, it's very obvious that one, your last name is very Anglo-Saxon, and two, he clearly was talking about you and your husband. It just doesn't work. No one gives a shit. Yeah, Stephen Miller's uncle also thinks he's a disgrace. Is he an anti-Semite too?
Come on, Piers. Where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
God, you're so
Katie,
pathetic.
if I can speak.
Everything's your shield.
If I can speak,
anti-Semite. Fire him, cancel him, cancel him, America. Oh my God, Israel's feelings have been hurt. Why don't you work for this country?
Can we try and get
this country instead of Israel?
Can we try? All right, can we please? All right, let's stop the ad hominem attacks. Let's try and get this back to a more civilized debate, which is actually about the likely incoming mayor of New York.
Beast mode.
Katie, I was giving you the chance to respond.
Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. Uncle Cenk, beast mode.
If you want me to do it for you, I'm happy to do that. But normally in a panel discussion, if someone makes...
You know, Piers,
I agree, and you shouldn't be interrupted. So... Katie, let me just ask you, separate. Let's not get into ad hominem stuff. It's honestly, I think the viewers are sick of it. Let me just ask you, Katie, what is your fundamental opposition to Mamdani? Because my view of Mamdani is he's very charismatic. He's a skillful politician. He has reined back on some of the more inflammatory things. He undeniably said the stuff he said about the NYPD would be for some people disqualifying, frankly, in a city like New York. But he's managed to come through that by reining back on.
It's so funny because Piers is like, listen, I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, but you have to make a better case. It's so funny. I mean, he cares more about content than anything else. Like he would have Hamas fighters on if he could. Okay. He does not give a shit. Of course, if he were to have like a resistance fighter, the first thing would be like, all right, well, Abu Ubaidah, do you condemn Hamas? But like he would do it. He just cares about maxing out on the content. He's a content demon. but he has his own personal politics as well. And yes, he's moved on the Israel stuff to a certain degree. It doesn't really matter much to me. I know that he is. I know what his actual opinions are. Right, like it's pretty clear. He will always follow along with the majority position, and he was an incredible nuisance to deal with for a very long time. Even though he did give a lot of space to pro-Palestinian speakers, myself included. My point is, I don't think Piers Morgan likes Zohran Mamdani, right? I don't think he is a fan of Zohran Mamdani. He wants content to take place, and he also wants people to make a convincing case that Zohran Mamdani sucks. But the problem is, these people are not capable of doing that because they get insane.
Some of that stuff. And he is, as Cenk Uygur rightly points out, he has a remarkable popularity with young Jewish New Yorkers. I mean, it is remarkable that for someone who people have branded anti-Semitic, a lot of Jewish New Yorkers simply don't agree. They want to vote for him. So he is what he is. I also think, as Gillian pointed out, that probably a more obvious stick to beat him with politically.
Why'd you stop going on Piers Morgan? I just don't think it's like super productive for me. I get too heated. That's it. Cenk does a very good job of just like screaming into the void. Whereas I feel like for me, I just get annoyed by it, even though I've definitely seen a lot of benefit for it. Like my Piers Morgan moments are all-time greats in the pro-Palestinian media moments, for sure. Like there are, and I'm glad that I did it as early as I did, because if you look at like my TikTok, for example, there's one in one of my highlights on TikTok. Where is it? Hold on. Like this one, right?
Is Israel.
This one is straight up from like a week after October 7, right? This is a week after October 7. I'm on Piers Morgan and I'm defending the Palestinian resistance and the Palestinian people in this argument. And I'm glad that this is out there for historic record, right? Because every single thing that I talked about in these conversations is now a part of the broader consensus opinion. Having said that, however, I just think it's not the most productive way to get the word out, you know?
Not allowed to defend itself from the worst terror attack since 9/11. If their mission now is to get rid of Hamas, then what they are doing is consistent with that, isn't it?
No, you said Israel has a right to defend itself. Absolutely zero people think that this is a ridiculous statement. However, how Israel is defending itself is collective punishment. Collective punishment in the form of depriving 2.2 million people of electricity, of water, of food, 51 people dying in the West Bank where, there is no Hamas in the West Bank, killing 3,480 Palestinians so far in Gaza, 1,000 plus children, 22 hospitals being bombed. These are horrifying crimes that you would openly say are horrifying and unjustifiable when Russia does it, but when Israel does it, Israel has a right to defend itself. This is identical to the same talking points that I've heard from every Israeli administration official. It's the same thing that I've heard from everyone else in the media. You might have been against the Iraq war, but you're using that for evil, in my opinion, at this point, if you are not sitting here and condemning those war crimes, those acts of violence, those acts of collective punishment.
That was, again, I think a week after October 7, or maybe 2 weeks after October 7, okay? It was shortly after October 7. And let me tell you, ain't nobody wanted to hear that, okay? And nobody wanted to hear that from a dude named Hasan, especially. It wasn't actually 10/21. It was, I think, a day prior or like 2 days prior. I don't know. This shit is such an echo chamber. Yeah, it is. But guess what? It's right. It's correct, okay? And ironically enough, I'm actually describing the fact that it wasn't such an echo chamber back then because I was steadfast in my opinion and I defended my position, and many people didn't want to hear it. Many people did not want to hear it. They were like, nah, you. They left. Only to come back later, but yeah, a third of my audience was like, nah, this guy's a terrorist. What the hell? Yeah. The 10-7 leavers and the 10-7 returners. So I'm glad that I did it at the time because I was invested in getting the word out. But the reason why I stopped doing it was because I felt like it was unproductive, and I would rather just like continue doing my advocacy without having it turn into a clown show. That's the reason why I stopped going on Piers Morgan. It's just not for me. But every now and then I'll still go back and watch these videos because I think they do a phenomenal job. Cenk does a great job. He is the perfect person to go on these types of shows and yell at everybody. And I think there's great content that comes out of it. And there's great humiliation that comes out of it for all of these oppositional figures, right? But it's just, you know, I don't enjoy rolling in the mud that much.
Are his views, which are pretty socialist. And what is fascinating about this politically...
there was one other aspect of this Katie Miller clip that I want to show. Cenk jiggling the keys in front of Alan Lichtman is an all-timer. Pulling his keys out of his pocket to be like, yeah, what happened to your keys, Alan? What happened to your 13 keys? It's one of the best moments. All-time banger. Alan is on the verge of tears, and Cenk is just going beast mode, really rubbing it in, really rubbing in his ginormous failure. In any case, what do you call it? Katie Miller responds back with like some threats about potentially deporting Cenk, which is expected. Okay, let's take a look.
Hold on. So what happened in the Holocaust and all the pogroms were disgusting. That doesn't mean that Israel...
Oh my God. Miller then threatens Cenk Uygur's citizenship because he destroyed her in a debate. How pathetic and disturbed. Cenk said, I hope I don't get deported for winning a debate. If Princess Snowflake is going to enter the arena, she has to understand there's no crying to mommy. If she has to ask her husband to deport everyone she loses the debate to, we're going to start running out of people. Oh my God. Take on Steven instead. Let's see how you do. Would love to. If he stops hiding behind his wife, it'd be my pleasure to take him on. Steven, debate, anytime, any place. These people are rapacious scumbags, okay? Unimaginable monsters. It is alarming that they feel comfort. They feel so comfortable playing fast and loose with the law and behaving in this way. They're annoying, intolerant, entitled crybullies. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. Part of the reason why I think they will lose in the end is because of this reason, where they are not even trying to entertain making a positive argument. Did you see this guy who lost the debate to you is crying to the Senate about how scary you are?
Type of left-wing ideology.
What is this? Hasan gets mentioned in the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee hearing by right-wing podcasters. That's awesome. I didn't even see this. Michael Knowles, once again, I like that the Republicans have decided, after sequencing out some of the most horrifying violence in their commentary, they have the audacity to turn around and be like, yeah, these guys that we actually debate against, sometimes they win too hard. I haven't even thought about this loser in years. And he's over here being like, he's scary. Please, mods, please arrest him, please. Holy hell, you can't go one day without being mentioned by the federal government now. It's just, oh God, it is so goddamn annoying. More drama slop has dropped about Kaige. What do you mean? Who gives a fuck, dude? Listen, you have to understand something. I got government ops, okay? I can't be dealing with whatever supposedly apolitical content creator had to say about me on a daily basis, okay? And it's so funny that all of these people that are supposedly liberals, that present themselves as liberals, present themselves as defenders of democracy, small d democracy, and the Democratic Party, are so quick to align with some of the most nefarious right-wing forces. Something to consider. Just saying. Okay? Something to consider. It's just strange that all these people who are like, I hate Donald Trump, I hate JD Vance, but you know who I hate more? Hasan Piker. And I actually will find myself in allegiance with JD Vance and also Michael Knowles as long as they are giving it to my least favorite person. Interesting. Hasan's career is the true monkey paw wish. No, it's just the same exact dynamic that you've seen throughout patterns of historic fascist movement development, that you are literally watching get relitigated in real time in even the smallest corners of the internet in the dumbest way possible, where you have liberals who are unserious about opposing this administration, actively leaning into this administration at a time when they are in the crosshairs themselves without even realizing that they themselves are in the crosshairs, only because the fascists are opposing their true enemy, it seems, socialists. I have less smoke for liberals than liberals do for me, because I understand that liberalism is a broader movement. Liberalism is a mass movement. I want to bring liberals onto our side. I want liberals to fight against fascism. I want liberals to fight against the Trump administration, oppose the horrifying things that they're doing. And that's precisely the reason why when the Democratic Party does things that I agree with, I give them credit for it. Even if they're doing a horrible job of defending it on principle, I still stand by them, like this government shutdown and the way that they have successfully been able to show the American public that the reason why the shutdown is happening is because Republicans are refusing to fund ACA subsidies. Okay? And in the process, they are dangling the starvation of 40 million Americans in an effort not to offer those subsidies where people's premiums are going to triple. Okay? It's crazy. If I can let bygones be bygones, because I don't give a shit about irrelevant drama or the back and forth, because I recognize that there's a far more consequential thing happening here with respect to what the goddamn with respect to what the goddamn government is doing to the American people as a whole, including even MAGA voters, okay, then you should be able to do that too. So I always say, one, judge me by my enemies. And I always tell you, two, pay close attention to what people focus on, what your favorite content creators focus on. Maybe you find yourself watching some of these other content creators, and they spend a good deal of time attacking someone like myself every step of the way. In this day and age, right now, in this very moment, when we are in the throes of fascism, if they are spending most of their time aligning with the administration against a person that they've declared the true enemy of their movement, someone like myself, then they're unserious. In the most charitable interpretation, they're unserious. And in the least charitable interpretation, they don't care about the growing fascist movement in this country. You're not worried these libs won't throw you to the wolves because it feels more likely every day? No, I'm not. Because I think that there are, especially in the broader liberal movement, whether it be the Podjons or whether it be people like Philip DeFranco or whether it be all of these people that are voters of the Democratic Party, they actually do take this seriously. Unlike the content creators that want to hyper focus on drama and actively try to advance their own personal distaste, advance their own personal agendas. That's it. So no, I don't think so. I think the Wine Mom Coalition, the boomers, they are far more serious about the ways in which this administration has moved, okay? And they are far more invested in opposing this fascist government than the random liberal, like self-described liberal content creator who is hyper-focused and hyper-invested in like slop. That's it. There's a reason why I don't talk about them and instead talk about whatever the is going on in the world, because I think that is far more consequential. My job is to communicate all of the awful things that this administration is doing. My job is not to just like always be invested in dealing with drama.
The belief that ideas don't really matter.
Even if that drama sometimes turns into statements that are a matter of official congressional record.
And that we're really just warring groups that must clobber each other over the head, which is why you're seeing the increased violence there. I think you saw this not only in the horrific assassination of Charlie, but in the reactions that came afterward. As the scene was unfolding, a Democrat analyst, Matthew Dowd, on MSNBC, the left-wing cable outlet.
Yeah, he didn't say nothing wrong, by the way. He was correct about Charlie Kirk, and I cannot believe that they punished him for it. What is this? Oh, I saw this TikTok. Yeah.
Blamed Charlie Kirk. He said, quote, Hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. The New York Times reacted by publishing the assassination-related musings of Hasan Piker, a prominent left-wing streamer.
Yeah, except I was about to debate Charlie, and he can't find anything that I've said about Charlie that's even remotely violent. You want to hear something even more ironic? Michael Knowles, just like all these other Republican charlatans, actually immediately tried to take over Charlie's position in Dartmouth. Did you know that? Yeah, I'll tell you. He was like, oh, I'll debate him in Charlie's place. Yeah, sharks. It was supposed to be Ben Shapiro, and then Ben Shapiro said no. And then Michael Knowles was the replacement, and Megyn Kelly. Yeah, bunch of vultures. And then he has the audacity to bring my name up in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Interesting. Yeah, I said no to the Michael Knowles thing because I was like, he's no motion. I don't give a shit about duking it out with Michael Knowles. I'll do it for Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro said no. And then Michael Knowles was like, I'll take his place. I said no. I was like, I don't want to debate the fourth most relevant Daily Wire guy. Ben Shapiro himself is not even relevant. The only reason why I would have done the Ben Shapiro thing is at least because of all the previous years of Ben Shapiro's work that at least would make that moment more important. In any case, yeah, all of my ops fell off, which is why I have new ops now. I have government ops. But yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? The Riley Gaines of Daily Wire. It's true. All right, dictionary.com. Pick 6-7 as 2025's word of the year. Hasan Reactions, one of the best ones in the React channel.